All right. We are here. We are alive. I imagine this is gonna look a little fucked because at night we have weird little bars coming across. I mean, my webcam's fucking shit. Look, you get what you get. Um, I just need to do some casual setting up for everything that we'll be looking at tonight. Let's see. Bring that to minimize. Yeah, need that one. What was this one for? Yeah, um, yeah. Get rid of that and grab that. That. Just bring up that for at the moment. Oh, funnily enough, so it being Friday night, there's a gig, of course, somewhere happening at the moment, and I had to drop my girlfriend off there. And so I was hanging out with some of her friends that she was going to be going to the gig with. And this was near one of the universities in uni. Uh, one of the universities in uni. One of the universities in the city. And uh, like the gig itself, it's a concert and it's right next to the uni. And so we're at the uni bar, just hanging out. Had a few drinks and then I headed off to get back here. And hang on, sorry. And so on my way out, I came across, I guess, like the end of a protest that was happening because the uni I was at was it's right next to not only the old Parliament House for Queensland, but the new one, the current one that they use. And so also want to close that. And so when people do protests against the Queensland government specifically, they'll go to the Queensland Parliament House. And there was one that had just finished up basically. And uh, there were some folks there who I recognized. And so I was like, oh, what are we all doing here? And it just happened to be it was a Palestine rally. Uh, so that was cool. I got to hang out with some folks that I know for a very brief moment. Um, what am I trying to do right now? That's right. I'm trying to bring up, see if we got just video. All right. I am so confused with what I'm looking at. Okay. Sometimes you just, what's, Can I get this to have its own fucking... Oh, what have I done? Oh, I ruined a thing. It's okay, I can just go here. How do I put it? Hmm. Oh, hang on. Yep, launch. And then if I go like that, can I? No? Why? Why? I had it working once and now it's just not at all. Why is that? So, yeah. How do I get one? I'm getting so easily distracted. I apologize. Oh, I think I fixed it. All right, well, I figured that one out now. Cool. Okay. Okay. So to start off with, um, I've actually interestingly been asked to talk a bit about ice specifically, ice in America. I think, uh, understandably, with the consideration of the fact that when we're talking about the MFA people, March for Australia, but even not just those people, because obviously now since August 31st, the individuals involved with it have come from a lot of different stuff. The individuals who are now involved in everything related to anti-immigration efforts in Australia at the moment, since MFA, it's all a whole heap of stuff as well now. And so I probably should have gone on water. I'm going to quickly take this one moment to get water or a drink. Okay, there we are. Much better. God, I imagine like you can hear like my chair going. I'll have to get a new one day. Anyway, so ice. When we're talking about the Australian anti-immigration situation, or I guess like the state of things regarding those movements, we like we've been hearing a lot about this term remigration. Now, speaking just for myself, I only really just came across that word when we had March for Australia. Maybe it had already been a thing beforehand, but legit, I swear I've not heard that term beforehand. And when you really think, like, dig down into what, like, once you've gotten to understand what people mean when they say remigration, you understand, like, okay, we already have terms for this. You are just going with a politically correct term instead to give name to it. Because what they're talking about is ethnic cleansing when it comes to remigration. Anyways, we've started noticing remigration as a term being used in America as of late. I've at least noticed this as of like 2025. I've noticed it here first in Australia and then in America being used. So, in reference to what I was just saying before, where I've actually been asked to talk a bit about ICE. I don't know fully why, but I would hazard a guess that the reason is um, because ultimately MFA and likewise are looking at what's happening in America with ICE and going, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do that here. Now, I am not one to say judge only, yeah, judge only a program or an initiative done by the government purely by whether or not it is successful at achieving it. As in, I was obviously never going to really be for ICE off the get-go, given what its set out job is to do. Like they say they're dealing with criminals, yet I can't help but notice that a lot of the stories of these people, like even if you want to slap criminal to whatever behavior that they're like have been involved in, it's really fucking nothing, and it really shows that it's just political. It's a political thing. Aside from your usual breaking up of communities, which, federal agents of some form are rather used to doing. Now, thankfully, we don't do this here in Australia yet. Thankfully, because partly because we have a Labor Party that's just never going to do that, but also because I don't think even the Liberal Party would be willing to do that. At least not yet. We're not at that stage yet. Um, Look, I'm going to just cut to the fucking chase of it all. They killed a woman. They fucking killed a woman. We already know about that. That they've done that. You've more than likely heard the story of what was her name? I'm sorry. Renee. I think it was Renee Good. Yep, Renee Good. Renee Nicole Good. Just a normal woman, 37, mother, and shot because if we get even just a bloody image, okay, footage. That's all we want. All we need. It's honestly so devastating. Oh, sorry. I've got audio coming through my headphones. Let me make sure that this is also going to come through here. Yep.
No! No!
So, yep. And I think we've already had the shots. Yep, yeah. Whoops, shit, we've already had the shots. We jumped ahead there.
Oh my! No!
So,
No! Shit! No!
our mate's trying to open the door rather aggressively. Pretty obvious what he's doing, trying to achieve there.
No!
Trying to pull her out.
No!
Oh, mate, over here, it's a different guy. I keep forgetting that. It's not the same guy. He thinks she's trying to ram him, apparently. But I don't know, man. It's really fucking obvious that she's just trying to get out of the whole situation.
Shame!
And apparently we're calling those defensive shots.
Shame!
3 shots.
Shame! Oh, shame! Shame!
I appreciate that we've got a nice officer who's also fallen over for no reason. Like, these guys are actual fucking brown shirts with guns and apparently legal authority to do whatever the fuck they want.
No!
Get out of the fucking car.
No!
Like, the other guy, the job of the other guy right now, the one who's pointing the gun, is just to jump out of the fucking way. I don't remember when watching any special agent movie, cop movie, buddy cop movie, anything where the immediate go-to is shoot the guy. Well, it's not even shoot the guy, shoot the woman who up until now has only been protesting, like barely. Like we're talking about, like she's just gotten into the way. One could argue it was a mistake. I don't know if it actually, but what I mean is like in another scenario where we had less information about the situation, it could have just been that it was all a mistake on her part. And so it's just fucking gross, man. It's just fucked.
Shame! Shame!
And yeah, she's dead then. Like, it really just shows how it really shows how casual that shit is in America now. Like it used to be a big deal when there was a mass shooting. Now mass shootings are the norm in America. Um, oh hey, oh David. Oh yeah, welcome. Um, but yeah, this used to be sorry, massacres used to be a rarity, and now that's a norm. And I guess something that's going to have to be a norm in America soon is the government agents can just kill you. They can just do that. You could fucking around and finding out was assumed just from you waking up on the day. I just want to go back up to the top of this article. I'm kind of glad I'm looking at it as a Sydney Morning Herald because fuck any American news right now. US and Customs Enforcement officer, yeah, ICE, has shot and killed a 37-year-old mother in a dramatic escalation of Trump administration's latest immigration crackdown in a major American city. Federal officials and local leaders clashed over their differing characterizations of the fatal shooting on Wednesday. Our Thursday, yep. With the Trump administration describing it as, yeah, that's what they're saying. Self-defense. Which like it's just that's just dumb. That's just dumb. Like it's so obviously not. I think something that they were saying was like, oh, the police officer. They well, for one, they're trying to make out like he got hit, which he didn't. None of them got hit. You know who did get hit by a bullet? Renee. But besides that, um, like they're trying to make out that he's been injured, that he's had PTSD from previous attempted car rammings, which is like, well, if we're going by based off this standard for what goes for a car ram, like, what do we mean by PTSD? And if he has PTSD, then he shouldn't be on the job. Like, if he has PTSD, then he should not be on the job. Like, that's the thing. They're trying to make out like he's totally fine, and this was a totally normal response. Like, unfortunate, but normal. Good, a US citizen had a 6-year-old child, wait, in the car. Her mother told Minnesota Star Tribune. Soft toys could be seen in photographs from the scene. Oh, you're fucking kidding me. In social media accounts, Good said she was a poet and a writer and wife and mum. Originally from Colorado but experiencing Minnesota. A profile picture shows her smiling and holding a young child against her cheek. Yeah, and they're trying to then they by I mean by the government are now trying to I said this in a tweet here. Where was it? Yeah, I'll just go with this one. They will kill you and lie about you to cover you up. Yeah, they will kill you and lie about you to cover you up. That's sort of the state of things at the moment. Because they're just calling her a straight up like lefty radical. As far as that what can be told, she is not that. And if she was, she wouldn't have done that, honestly. She wouldn't have. That actually, the thing that she did kind of makes sense for her being like just an average citizen woman who's like, oh my God, something bad's happening. I'm gonna try and stop them. But in this means, with my car. Yeah. In a video from the scene of the shooting posted to social media, a distraught woman is seen sitting near the vehicle crying, describing Good as her spouse. That's my wife. I don't know what to do. The deadly incident has fueled a national debate over Trump's efforts to send heavily armed federal agents into U.S. cities in his push for mass deportations, with operations ramping up last year from Chicago to Los Angeles. Within hours, the Minneapolis killing, the Minneapolis killing, at least at least the fifth linked to immigration crackdowns. Doesn't that tell you something? We've already had 5 of these. Ignited protests as far away as New York. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, world's favorite cowgirl, described the incident as an act of domestic terrorism carried out against ISIS officers by a woman who. That's right, she's the one who went real fucking psycho. She's the one who literally just said like, "Yep, no, they fired defensive shot, defensively shot." That was my favorite line out of the press briefing. Speaks to landowners and other officials in Texas. She she looks. Thing is with so many of the Trump admin, what are they ultimately called? Like department secretaries, I'll just say. They're all cartoon characters, which I both hate and love at the same time. They're all cartoon characters, and Chrissy Nome is the one I get the least, honestly. Because like granted, I feel like you could probably put anyone in the position of the ICE one, of the ICE thing, of like, getting rid of the illegals, getting rid of the immigrants, getting rid of just non-white people. Um, but like I didn't know that she had a particular love for this thing. She's shown herself to, don't get me wrong. I just like all I've never really known about it is the ice shit, but also the fact that she shot a dog. That's all I've known. The situation is being studied in its entirety. I love that as well when she said it's being studied. But the reason these incidents are happening is because the radical left is threatening assaulting and targeting our law enforcement officers and ICE agents on a daily basis. They are just trying to do the job of making America safe. Yep, 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 yep. Oh, that's what Trump wrote. Hours later, Noam didn't back down, claiming the woman was part of a mob of agitators and had followed agents around all day. Yeah, that's what they're claiming. Good blocked their vehicle and refused orders to move out of the way. Noam said and then proceeded to weaponize her vehicle. That's also what they're saying. Weaponize her vehicle. I would love them to point at what point did the weaponization begin. Like if they could go frame by frame and they're like, all right, not weapon, not weapon, not weaponizing. We're weaponizing, not weaponize, weaponizing, weaponizing, weaponized. I want to see when that happens. Any loss of life is a tragedy, and I think all of us can agree that in this situation it was preventable. It is literally like the way that they're talking about it is basically like ice is a force of nature, and you need to just respect that. You just need to accept that ice is just going to do its thing. It's just going to tear people apart, and it may even kill people. That's all. You just need to not get in the way of it. Yeah, and then we have the video. Just gonna. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey blasted the Trump administration. Yeah, he said to get the fuck out, didn't he? It was like, alright, like, we'll see. Oh, God. Ad. Fuck off. Videos taken by bystanders with different vantage points and posted to social media show an officer approaching an SUV stopped across the middle of the road, demanding the driver open the door and grabbing the handle begins to pull forward, and a different ICE officer standing in front of the Honda Pilot immediately fires at least two shots into the car at close range, jumping back as it moves towards him. Like that's the thing. He was able to jump back anyway. He didn't actually need to fire the gun. He opted for that decision. So what we are saying is it is okay to kill someone just for simply doing this. Like, I want to say this, yeah.
We collectively are going to do everything possible to get to the bottom of this, to get justice, and to make sure that there is an investigation that is conducted in full. But what we do know is that a 37-year-old woman is dead and that she was shot by ICE. We've dreaded this moment since the early stages of this ICE presence in Minneapolis. They are not here to cause safety in this city. What they are doing is not to provide safety in America. What they are doing is causing chaos and distrust. They're ripping families apart. They're sowing chaos on our streets. And in this case, quite literally killing people. They are already trying to
I mean, yeah, this. I was about to say this is the fifth, but I remember that there's another two that have been shot, and I just don't remember if that was included as the fifth. Yeah, it was a part of the fifth. Just trying to find that bit. Whatever, like, they've at least killed like fucking 6 people or something. Now, their job isn't to kill people. Not only is it not to kill people, and I mean as in like, oh, it's okay to, someone who is a genuine threat to the public or whatever, is whatever, like then it's okay. I'm not talking about that. We're talking literally they just decide to pull their gun out and shoot someone. Like these people aren't even capable of handling themselves. Like ICE is made up of some of the most triggerable people possible. They are such pussies that they will fire bullets just because a car went towards them. It's like actual like bitch baby shit that's being justified.
In this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed.
I will say, like, from what I've seen of this Jacob Frey guy, like he's been like, yeah, all right, whatever. But like this is, I feel like at least somewhat of a reasonable response. Um, I always think that politicians could be going so much harder than what they need to be doing. Uh, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean much when it comes to the like results. When it comes down to results, and like this shit hopefully does get prosecuted or whatever.
There's little I can say, again, that'll make this situation better, but I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart. Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead. That's on you. And it's also on you to leave.
Yeah, so like that's a fairly decent response. Like this ought to be a fucking line that cannot be crossed, where it's like being pro ice. No, how do I need to word this? I think I've heard this from someone else, but I guess I'll just steal it. Abolish ice should not only just be the moderate position, it just should be the centrist position. Like ice is such a destructive force as its own agency or whatever with the way it operates that it should just not exist. Yeah, it was not clear from the videos if the vehicle may. Yeah, it's really clear that he doesn't. The SUV then sped into two cars, parked on a curb nearby before crashing to a stop. She was driving away and they killed her, said resident Lynette Rini Grandel, who was outdoors recording video on her phone. Like what they're legit just doing is they just go into some random town now. They're basically just going into towns or like districts or parts of the city or whatever. Just fucking shit up, kill someone, fuck some cars up, and then they just fuck off. Like this is just raider shit. Bandits. Good's mother, Donna Ganger, told the paper her daughter was one of the kindest people I've ever known, and was probably terrified at the time of the shooting, just a few blocks away um, from some of the city's oldest immigrant markets. Yeah, that's right. It wasn't too far away from where George Floyd was killed, which is a real like, ain't that so something? Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara, and boy, that was by police. Fucking George Floyd. How good the police are looking right now. If the police ever needed a fucking PR boost right at the moment, ICE is giving it to them. Brian O'Hara Hera gave no indication that the woman was trying to harm anyone at the time of the shooting. Preliminary investigations indicated that a vehicle was blocking traffic when a federal officer approached on foot. The vehicle began to drive off. At least two shots were fired. The vehicle then crashed on the side of the roadway. A dark-colored SUV with a bullet hole through its windshield and blood spattered across the headset was seen rammed into a pole on a snowy site after the shooting. Yeah, because that's what I saw. I just saw something about like the inside of it, and it was fucked. Describe scene paramedics performed CPR on a woman collapsed next to a snowbank. They loaded her into ambulance that drove away without its sirens on. There's been lots of ice activity, but nothing like this, Mars said. I'm so angry, and I feel helpless. The area has been on edge since the Department of Homeland Security announced on Tuesday it was deploying more than 2,000 officers to Minneapolis and St. Paul in an operation that is at least partly tied to allegations of welfare fraud. Yeah, the fucking the fucking Somali daycare bullshit. This fraud, like this is the right wing. They now will believe bullshit, cause bullshit, and say bullshit when they kill you. Nome said they had already made hundreds and hundreds of arrests. How good on them. Congratulations. The shooting has drawn hundreds of protesters into the streets near the scene, some of whom were met by heavily armed federal agents wearing gas masks who fired chemical irritants at the demonstrators. In a scene that harkened back to the Los Angeles and Chicago crackdowns, bystanders heckled the officers and blew whistles that have been ubiquitous during the operations. Oh, that have become ubiquitous across the operations. Like, this is literally just these guys are just getting off to this shit. Like, what is this? Um, Shame, 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 and ICE out of Minnesota. They loudly chanted from behind the police tape. Frey urged residents to remain calm, as did State Governor Tim Walz, who criticized the immigration crackdown but called on people to protest peacefully. Yeah, of course. I mean, this is the problem: is it's like then they say protest peacefully, and it's like, how do you peacefully protest this? Realistically, how do you? Because they just killed someone, they just murdered someone, and you're asking people just to relax. Do not take the bait, he said. Do not allow them to deploy federal troops into here. Do not allow them to invoke the Insurrection Act. Do not allow them to declare martial law. He said the shooting was totally predictable and totally avoidable. I guess that's Frey. Immigration agents have been involved in other similar shootings during Trump's administration's crackdown during Operation Midway Blitz. Like they also give it some of the dumbest fucking names. Trump immigration enforcement surge in Chicago last year. ICE agents shot and killed Silvio 38-year-old Mexican national. Do I remember that one? I can't remember. Gonzalez, a cook and father of two with no criminal record, was shot in his car after agents attempted to arrest him. I feel like I do remember that one. That was also pretty fucked. If it's the one I remember. DHS statement said Gonzalez had steered his car at agents, dragging one officer and causing him to fire out of fear for his life. It's interesting how they're having to fire their gun out of fear for their lives. Police body cam footage obtained by Reuters complicated that narrative, with the ICE agent saying his injuries were nothing major. You hate to see it happen. You hate to see it happen. Border Patrol agents also shot a woman in Chicago in October. DHS said the shooting was in self-defense after the woman rammed into the agent's vehicle, but her lawyer said video footage showed the agents hit her car before opening fire. Wow, it's almost as if these people are full of shit and they're lying and they're actually the ones causing problems and lying to get away with it. Huh. In December, ICE agents fired at a van carrying two men they were targeting for arrest, leaving one with bullet wounds. A DHS statement said the men drove the van at ICE officers, prompting them to fire. There's a weird coincidence here happening, because if I remember correctly as well, isn't it illegal in Florida drive to drive into protesters? That's their fault. Florida drivers have the right to hit protesters if they are threatened, DeSantis says. That's right. Now, obviously, this isn't in Florida, so it's not the same thing at all. But it's just interesting. So, like, if they go to Florida, if they ever have the need to go to Florida, ICE that is, what happens then? Because they're inevitably going to have to shoot someone if someone tries to run into them. So I'm really curious to know what's going to happen then. It's a real like um, unstoppable force meets unmovable object, prompting them to fire in self-defense. For nearly a year, migrant rights advocates and neighborhood activists across the Twin Cities have been preparing to mobilize in the event of an immigration enforcement surge. From houses of worship to caravan parks, they have set up active online networks, scanned license plates for possible federal vehicles, and bought whistles and other noise-making devices to alert neighborhoods of any enforcement presence. Does that feel familiar in any way? Really? What the fuck is going on? Why can't America right now just keep it self-contained? They're fucking crazy, I swear. They're fucking insane. They can't help themselves. They just gotta fucking blow something up or shoot something. On Tuesday night, the Immigration Defense Network, a coalition of groups serving immigrants in Minnesota, held a training session for about 100 people who were willing to hit the streets to monitor the federal enforcement operation, which, by the way, totally legal. Totally legal. This is totally fine because at the end of the day, the only reason why these people are ultimately having to do this actually is because of the way that ICE has been acting. In that, well, obviously they're going to do that if ICE kills people, but also because ICE masks themselves. They drive in unlicensed vehicles. They uh, uh, they don't reveal their identities in any way. They don't respond to like, can you say out your fucking officer name and whatnot. They don't do any of that. So thus people have to do shit just to be able to like understand who the fuck they're dealing with. Because you actually have to give that information as a federal agent or a state agent. You have to give certain information to the person who you're arresting or other people who might be nearby or whatever. You have to be able to give it to them. And they're just straight up not doing that. And thus, people have to do things like this. I feel like I'm an ordinary person. I have the ability to I have the ability to something, so I need to do it. I feel like she might have said a bit better than that, maybe. But yeah, so Not only are they disappearing people, they're straight up fucking offing people. But I want to also look at this thing because this was rather funny. As a slow motion surveillance video of the shooting played on the laptop, we told him being Trump, that this angle did not appear to show an ICE officer had been run over. Well, Mr. Trump said, the way I look at it, it's a terrible scene, Mr. Trump said at the end of the video. I think it's horrible to watch. No, I hate to see it. It's really interesting that even Trump, I'm not even going to look at it. There was the statement he put out where he's basically defending the officer, making out like the guy fucking is lucky to have his arms and legs. Um, and like then these journalists did some proper journalism and got Trump to look at the is that actually the article? I wouldn't be able to read it. Yeah, we pressed Trump on his conclusion about ICE shooting. Here's what he said. Oh, they even have the photo. Maybe we can even get this right now. What the fuck? Alright, so the exchange was a glimpse into the president's reflexive defense of his federal crackdown on immigration. Let's see. Responded to a video of a woman being shot by.
Well, if you take a look at the tape, I saw the same tape that you must have seen. She behaved horribly. And then she ran him over. She didn't try to run him over.
The
She
video
ran him
didn't
over.
look like he was run over.
It's
I
a
just
terrible scene.
Yeah.
We all agree on
You say it's horrible to watch. You said that on Truth Social.
I think it's
Like,
horrible
do you
to
think
watch.
that goes
I hate to see
too
it.
far?
Showed the motorist was driving away from, not toward, a federal officer when he opened fire. Yeah, I mean, that was fucking obvious. Ah, that was it. Yeah. So did they actually wanted to run the tape? So can you imagine him actually being on stage of some sort of thing and like having that video running right next to him? I want to see nobody get shot. I want to see nobody screaming and trying to run over policemen ever, either. It's a good thing that didn't happen, Mr. President. The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. As you can imagine, that is from 1984. His heart sank as he thought of the enormous power arrayed against him, the ease with which any party intellectual would overthrow him in debate, the subtle arguments which he would not be able to understand, much less answer, and yet he was in the right. They were wrong, and he was right. The obvious, the silly, and the true had got to be defended. And got to be defended. Truisms are true. Hold on to that. The solid words exist. Its laws do not change. Stones are hard. Water is wet. Objects unsupported fall towards the Earth's center. Interesting. Anyway. So that's been that. It's been pretty fucking just disgusting. That's that's funny. That's very funny. True. Truth. Very, very cohesive. Very cohesive. Don't need that. So, the next thing I wanted to look at, actually, hang on. Do we finish this? Yeah, we did. We pretty well finished all that. It was pretty damn bad. So the next thing I wanted to look at, this is more so just I think it would be funny. So Peterson Academy. I don't know if you've gotten an ad for them yet. I definitely have. And in my opinion, it's well worth the laugh. So yes, it's Jordan Peterson. You know him, you love him. He's trying to sell us university with thanks to the power of technology coming to you easier, better, smarter at what was it again? 1% the price. And it's 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 fucking shit. It's a very obvious grift. Wait, what the fuck, Black Friday? Save up to $1,000. You can get all of the Jordan Petersons. You can get all the Jordan Petersons. That's amazing. How to plan your life. The Sermon on the Mount. Personality and its transformations, I assume. Maps of Meaning, Part 1. Maps of Meaning, Part 2. Nietzsche, How to Philosophize with a Hammer. I love that, by the way. With a hammer. And he's squinting hard, I'll give him that. So, I kind of like Peterson in a weird. Uh, I kind of like Peterson in like the really like quirky way of he has a funny voice and now he just says really strangely worded dumb shit. But you know, it attempts to look smart. So naturally, I had to have a look at his website and you can enroll, sign in. It's basically like what's one that we're familiar with? Like Masterclass. It's Masterclass. It's Masterclass, but branded like it's attempting to brand itself like it's a university. I mean, it's literally called Peterson Academy. I do like here that it says here beta. Um, but yeah, so it here you go, brilliant lectures, 600 plus hours of brilliant lectures. We have shit about the personality, intelligence, abnormal psychology, narcissism, psychology, psychology, the boy crisis, psychology. It's a lot of psychology, which is interesting because I would have thought that the right wing would have hated psychology. They normally do hate psychology because it normally is trying to explain why our brains are the way they are, um, in like the psychological sense, obviously. So they try and, get you to want to feel less confident in. I imagine it's mainly targeted towards like Americans. Tries to target the fact that there's a lot of debt that people hold in going to university, a lot of student debt and whatnot. So its solution is you can watch and listen anywhere, anytime to all this stuff, all your courses in one place, tools for deeper learning, a curated social space, so like Twitter, learn online or offline, instantly find what matters. All right. Enroll in Peterson Academy today. New courses monthly. World-class faculty. 50,000 students enrolled. We got intellectual community. And it is $400 a year. Gain full access to all current and future courses and our prestigious community for 1 year. So $400 a year. Because of course they can't charge you like the amount for an education because that would start to actually get a bit, you know, you would start asking questions. The best place I've had the privilege to teach, redefining modern education. That's Imagine what the best education could be. With the new technologies, the best instructors, the lowest cost. That's what we're striving for. You gave me absolute intellectual autonomy. For those seeking a real education, serious scholarship, clear reasoning, and intellectual independence, Peterson Academy is building it without the death trap. Debt trap. So it's they're selling it. That's what they're doing. They're trying to sell it. So now then you get to the frequently asked questions. And you see, all right, let's see the first one. Why is Peterson Academy so inexpensive compared to traditional universities? By delivering education entirely online with lectures from renowned professors, we eliminate the massive overhead costs of traditional universities, such as physical campuses, administrative bureaucracy, and non-academic amenities. In other words, like the actual university. The university part of university. This allows us to keep prices low while prioritizing investments in exceptional instructors and cutting-edge technology that enables high-quality, scalable learning for everyone. Oh, that's so nice. Is there a money-back guarantee? Only for the first 14 days. Of course, just for the year, but that's all good. Yes, there's gifting. Of course you can gift someone this. Of course you can gift someone this. Why would you not be able to gift someone this? There's only 77 courses on a range of, and I do love this, wide range of social science, business, humanities, and natural science topics. One, it's wide. It's a rather weird wide. And social science, again, I thought you people thought the social sciences were like complete bullshit. Were like just bullshit. Humanities as well, for that matter. Natural science, yeah, they do like that one because it justifies their shit. Business, that makes sense. Each course is 8 hours long, a real course, eh? And we are releasing 4 new courses every month covering a variety of subject areas from STEM to the arts. Make sure to check out our trailers. And then the real question, can I get to see the Jordan Peterson ones? Because that's their way of selling this. That's their real like advertising thing. He's like the sponsor in a way. It'd be something like that. I'm trying to think of like a more applicable term. But here's my absolute favorite bit. We are not currently accredited. Nope. You can't get a job out of us. Nope, you cannot. Don't come to us looking for a job at the end. We are pursuing accreditation in a number of jurisdictions. However, we are not willing to compromise the technical merits, originality, or quality of our education to meet the requirements of any ideologically compromised expert body. What do you mean? Ideologically compromised. But then we get even better. We will be rolling out Peterson Academy certification in the coming months, which will show course grades and completion. We're collaborating with companies skeptical of the current academic oh God, credentiality, credential, credentialing the system so that our students will be given careful consideration upon completing their Peterson academic studies in the upcoming months. Test taking and certification is entirely optional. What is the point of this thing then? Like, it's not an academy, it's masterclass, it's Skillshare. It's, I think those are the only two that I know of right now, but like, this is the third one now. Like, it's the same fucking thing. Is there an age limit? That's right. Where is it? Created with a university level audience in mind. However, a bright high school student would benefit from our courses, acknowledging that this content is meant for ages 18 plus, and people with no past education are also invited to attend. Of course, even the ones who didn't go to high school. Even the people who didn't go to high school or primary school for that matter. Once they hit 18, we're ready to pick them up on the way. Anyone can learn. Each course differs in difficulty, but we do have intro courses available for people who have no education in that discipline, as well as more advanced courses, with intro and advanced courses being released monthly. Oh my God, it's like they've, oh God, I've got a fucking yawn. It's so nice of them how convenient they've made this whole thing. How convenient they've made it for you to be able to give them $400 a year. What devices? Bro, you can do it on every device. Is there a mobile app? Of course there's a mobile app. Is there a podcast? Of course there's a podcast. Course materials only on the app. Can I access it from around the world? Now, this one I find weird because they just say yes. And I'm thinking, like, do you think they can access this in Iran? The internet's down in Iran at the moment. I like this is just lying for pointlessness sake. Like, why are you even trying to bullshit to me in this one? Why don't you at least just admit that? What, even in North Korea? I don't know. Are the courses self-paced or do they follow a schedule? Self-paced, exactly, because it's not uni and it's not accredited. Therefore, they don't expect you to really finish it. The point is to sucker you into paying the money. And then you forget about the app, and then it's just like the gym. It's just for your brain instead, in that you try it out once or twice and you forget about the whole fucking thing. Do I have to take exams or do coursework? Absolutely not. Quizzes are completely optional, and when we roll out other educational tools like essay writing, that will also be all optional. You can easily use the platform to educate yourself, watch videos, and socialize without testing. It's almost like you can just send us $400 and not even do anything. I just, the lowest I ever dropped, and I will admit this, the lowest I ever dropped, okay? I bought Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. I bought the book years ago now. I don't own it anymore. I don't think so, at least. I can't even remember. Yeah, no. And I bought the book because, and this is kind of embarrassing to admit. I just liked his voice. I thought he had a funny voice. And so I just liked to listen to him. on like YouTube or whatever because I just thought he had a funny voice to listen to, and I didn't put too much thought into it at the time. And next thing you know, I was listening to all kinds of conservative shit, and was like, what the fuck is going on in my life right now? But I had the 12 rules for life, and so like ever since having come out of alt-right pipeline, far-right pipeline, whatever we want to call it, it's always been like a pet love to kind of dig at Peterson a little bit because it was one of the first things I kind of realized of like, yeah, he's kind of full of shit. He's kind of like completely full of shit. He like gives really um mundane advice, like 50-50. He gives mundane advice that like, yeah, it's helpful, but like Jesus Christ, man, it's nothing to gloat about. In that you're teaching other people or like for them to be like, oh my God, you're such a hero in my life. And then the other side, the other 50% of it is like complete fuckery. It's just complete bullshit. Anyway, how do I track my progress and performance? If you choose to take the tests and exams, you can record your progress on your profile page. Use that information in the future to further your career. Partnership opportunities and creative and entrepreneurial ventures. What does that mean? Use that information to further your career, partnership opportunities, and creative and entrepreneurial ventures. What I think that tells me again is it's not accredited, it is not useful, no one will believe it. They will only believe it or see it if they're like in the club. If they're in the club, they'll see it and go, cool, you're one of the guys, you're in. I would love to see their fucking demographics. I would love to see their demographics. So then we have the faculty. Let's just click on it. Oh my God. I didn't even realize they had fucking Brett Weinstein. Yeah, they brought in Dan Crenshaw. Cringe-shaw, more like. All of these people look like they're fucking. Half of these people look like they're dying. Oh yeah, Yaron Brook, he's like an absolute nutbag. Like I'm gonna speak up. This guy, I was watching a bit of, and he's just funny. Popular historian, author, journalist, and a member of the House of Lords. Oh, great. Bring in a fucking. Yeah, bring in the politicians. Who cares, eh? Sorry, I'm just wanted to get familiar with them all. Alright, so that's all of them. Andrew Doyle, he sounds familiar as well. Alright. Now, recognized as one of the most distinguished Western intellectuals of our era. You know what? No, let's read their bio for Peterson. That'll be good. That'll be a good bit. You're kidding me. 4 courses, 42 lessons, 43 hours. That makes sense. I mean, he doesn't shut the fuck up. Give me one sec. All right. Where is, do they have like a, what? But I thought it was $400. Join now and gain full access to all current and future Peterson Academy courses with 4 new courses a month, optional testing. How is it now $400? $800. It was $400 before. It's gone up twice. Gone up by twice. Intellectually driven community. Is that the exact number? Anyway, sorry. Recognized as one of the most distinguished Western intellectuals of our era, brings a wealth of experience from his role as a globally esteemed clinical, not really, but anyway, globally esteemed clinical psychologist, which he, by the way, he's no longer, is he even a doctor anymore, technically? He's definitely not a professor, that's for sure. And Professor Emeritus, yeah, there we go. Yeah, he isn't that anymore, of psychology at the University of Toronto, with a storied academic journey that encompasses periods spent at McGill University and Harvard University. Dr. Peterson has left an indelible mark through his groundbreaking research on personality psychology and social hierarchies, reflected in numerous publications. His transformative insights, disseminated through best-selling books and captivating lectures, have inspired millions worldwide. Dr. Peterson's fearless advocacy for free speech underscores his commitment to intellectual freedom and societal progress. Through his unparalleled clarity, nuanced approach, he empowers individuals to confront life's challenges with courage and resilience, blending rigorous scholarship with captivating storytelling to enlighten and captivate students on a global scale. There was a really good like quote I've heard when it comes to Peterson, where it's like you're not understanding him not because he's smart, but because what he is saying is stupid. Isaiah Israelov. Of course they would. I'm taking the best notes I've ever taken as a student of Peterson Academy. What a great quote. What a great quote. I'm taking the best notes I've ever taken in my life. So good, it's like it physically, psychologically, and spiritually hurts to press pause. These people aren't real. I refuse to believe these people are real. That sounds so dumb. That's so dumb. What's this guy? So, oh, okay, for his expertise in narcissism. I'm a narcissism. No, I'm not. I'm just gonna get a drink. Okay. I might have to do a part two on the Peterson Academy thing. I'm just looking at the time. But that's okay. And about somewhat. Alright, so then we got this. There's this other guy, Keith Campbell. Was a professor of psychology, University of Georgia, celebrated for his expertise in narcissism, self-esteem, BA from University of Berkeley, MA from University of California, San Diego, and PhD from the University of Florida. Published over 200 papers, including his latest New Science of Narcissism. Sites have been featured on major media outlets such as the Today Show. Okay, Joe Rogan experience. Known for his dynamic teaching style and commitment to advancing psychological science, excels in blending profound academic knowledge with practical understanding of human behavior. Alright, 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 alright. Let's let's search this guy up. I want to see what the internet thinks of him. He's a prominent American social psychologist, renowned for his extensive research. Go into his Wikipedia. Okay. He seems to be a fairly, when you love a man who loves himself, the narcissism epidemic, living in the age of entitlement, handbook of narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, and then the new science of narcissism, understanding one of the greatest psychological challenges of our time and what you can do about it. Okay, so he's probably just like a general, like he's just a psychologist. Narcissism and romantic attraction. Well, now hang on. He's your world of. Oh, fuck that. Okay. Who's this guy? John Vervaeke? Cognitive scientist. An award-winning professor of psychology, cognitive science, and Buddhist psychology at the University of Toronto, brings a wealth of academic expertise to his courses. Let's just, okay, so with expertise in both Eastern and Western philosophy, guides learners through a transformative journey. Yeah, ancient wisdom shit. Let's see. Ah, ah, okay. Not a good start to things. Is that one of the characters is that he applies extremely anachronistic lenses to everything. Argues against others. Can we just get a Wikipedia is what I'm hoping for. Wikipedia. Verified editors. Okay. Encyclopedia verified editors. Wikipedia. Okay, I didn't know this existed. He is also a YouTuber who is recognized for his series Awakening from the Meaning Crisis. It has been said that his work is similar to that of Jordan Peterson, Daniel, that's a name, Schmackenberger, and Peter Leinberg. He is the first author of the book Zombies in Western Culture, a 21st Century Crisis. Along with that, is a practitioner of martial arts and meditation. Of course, he is. Awakening from the meaning crisis. Says we're in the midst of many mental crises, and all these flows from the meaning crisis. So that his goal is to empower people to awaken. He describes awakening as a process of deep individual transformation. As a cognitive scientist, he says that his work is to understand his field, bridge between fields. He describes his search as a search for higher meta meaning system. What? That bridge. What? After Socrates does it, quote after, so he says that the series is about how to create the theory, the practice, and the ecology of practices such that we can live and grow and develop through a Socratic way of life. And discovering Socrates, he says that he found his life's purpose, the pursuit of wisdom, and wisdom as an antidote to the meaning crisis. Man, you can just say whatever the fuck you want these days. Alright, so probably a crank. David Eagleman. So far, I'm yet to be convinced otherwise that this is just a masterclass thing. This is the only vibes I'm getting from all this. Is an American neuroscientist, best-selling author, and science communicator. He teaches neuroscience at Stanford University and has founded several neurotech startups. Oh, of course, he has. He directs the nonprofit Center for Science and Law, which seeks to align the legal system with modern neuroscience. He is known for his work on brain plasticity, time perception, synesthesia, and neurolaw. Um, okay, this guy has a lot of work. So I'm taking that one as some kind of. Eagleman does not drink alcohol. Interesting. Taking this as some kind of he needed money. They all needed money. All right, but here we go with Heather Haying, who, if I remember correctly, distinguished evolutionary biologist. Could be wrong, but isn't she? Yes. She's been associated with the informal group known as the Intellectual Dark Web, testified at the U.S. Department of Justice Forum on Free Speech on college campuses in 2018. Haying opposed COVID-19 vaccines and promoted the unproven belief that the drug ivermectin is effective in treating the disease. That is right. She is the wife of Brett Weinstein. They're kind of the power duo when it comes to scientific misinformation. She did a PhD in biology with a dissertation titled The Evolutionary Ecology and Sexual Selection of the Madagascan Poison Frog. Hell yeah. Mm. Yes, and then there was the Evergreen State College, including one altercation between protesters and Hanks Hobson. The pair brought a lawsuit against the college at 3.85 million. Suit alleged the college failed to protect its employees from repeated provocative and corrosive verbal and yeah, I remember when that was a whole thing that happened. Yeah, they left and then but they got a payout. Just gonna Following her resignation, Hay has written articles and opinion articles related to evolution and cultural politics, of course, for journals and newspapers such as the New York Times and the Chronicle of Higher Education. She co-hosts a weekly podcast, the Dark Horse Podcast, with her husband. Yeah, she appeared on Real Time Event along with Weinstein presenting the lab leak hypothesis around the origins. Really? Interesting. I never knew that. No wonder he really was fucking lost. Bill Maher, there it is. I didn't realize how fucking. I didn't know he'd gone that far. For this purpose to take anti-malarial. Compared to using it for this purpose to take anti-malarial. Oh god. So yeah, that's and who's this guy? Lugavia. Lugavia. A nutritionist. Give me the wiki. Because, if there's anything. Ah! As an anti-vegan activist. Promotes diets that contain high amounts of animal source foods and has claimed that veganism increases risk of dementia. Pretty sure there is no proof for that. His views about supplements to supercharge the brain are not supported by scientific evidence. Interesting. So this guy is a top-notch crank. Here we go. Promotes a large carbohydrate diet. A low carbohydrate diet of grass-fed beef, free-range chicken, and pasture-raised or omega-3 enriched eggs with low carbohydrate, fibrous vegetable, blah, 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 blah. Pork Rule co-authored the book Genius Foods, which discusses the link between diet and brain health. Okay, I don't really care about each of these things. Argues that breakfast material refined are mind killers and that the plant-based diets deny necessary fats. It was negatively reviewed by critics. Movie genre commented that the documentary lacked empathy for his mother and concluded, I felt like I'd watched somebody use their loved one's death to sell supplements. Ow! Chronicles his mother's struggle with dementia and also explores fringe ideas about nutrition. Very interesting. Opposition to veganism has been described as an anti-vegan activist. He promotes a high-fat, meat-heavy diet and has been described as spending his time on social media complaining about vegan propaganda. Lugavere has blamed plant-based and vegan diets for increasing risk of dementia and mental health problems. He has argued that eggs are being unfairly demonized by governments despite containing choline, which he says has been linked to lower dementia risk. Also recommends regular consumption of red meat for mental health. I'm pretty sure it's like literally the complete opposite is what you should be doing. So he's just a fucking nut job. I just decided, fuck it, we're not even going to bother reading their bio. Who's this guy? Stephen Hicks. He's a philosopher. Explaining postmodernism, skepticism, and socialism from Rousseau to Foucault. Argues that postmodernism is best understood as a rhetorical strategy of the academic left developed in reaction to the photo. Holy shit, this guy was around from the get-go doing this stuff. Additionally, Hicks has published articles and essays on a range of subjects, including entrepreneurism, free speech, and academia, of course, the history and development of modern art. That is so interesting. He's been around since the get-go doing this shit. Ah, yes, subjectivism. Yes, yes, the Ayn Rand thing. Ayn Rand, whatever her fucking name is. Hmm, that's interesting. That's really interesting that they've got him. Stephen Hicks. He's including the landmark explaining postmodernism. Yeah. Because what better way to understand the philosophy of postmodernism than from the guy who clearly doesn't like it? I mean, I just want to know what they've said about him. Previously, where he was recognized for his steadfast advocacy of academic free and free speech. Through his dynamic lectures, podcasts, and writings, he fosters critical thinking and intellectual exploration, empowering individuals to address complex challenges with courage and honesty. Has conducted research on cancer, xenocides, telomeres. I don't know what any of this is. The latitudinal diversity gradient, the evolution of morality, and the tent-making bats of the New World. What the fuck does that even mean? Alright, who's Sarah Hill? Dr. Sarah Hill. Bring it on. Alright, women's hormones, birth control, evolutionary psychology. Wait, sorry. I didn't wanna. I didn't wanna. I was hoping for a Wikipedia. Wikipedia will do. American. Don't think this is the same person. Is she not deserving of her own fucking. Could it be her? Surely not. I don't think so. Maybe in this book, and I have some doubts about some of the studies and how it's written. The author is a psychologist, and although I'm not going to discredit her work or research, I take on this book as very cishet and only takes into consideration so they don't get pregnant. So really, this book doesn't pertain to me as I'm queer and take birth control for health reasons. But this book might be helpful for someone else. But because I've been trying to find a review on this book by someone in biology or gynecology, or anyone in the field of science. I've looked at Goodreads. I can't find anyone, so please, if you've read this book. I've read parts of this when I tried to research BC options, birth control options, when my previous one was causing issues. I think this book is so popular because so many women are handed pills and doctors never seem to discuss the side effects, which are more common than many of us realize. Than you or many of us realize, probably. So someone wrote a digestible book about BC, and people ran with it. I think that was my phone just there for a second. Nope, I don't know what that was. Was that this? That's dead. Anyway, my problem, and people ran with it. My problem was she'll cite multiple studies that back her hypothesis, then mention that other studies found the opposite and that more research is needed. It just left me confused. Being birth control is really popular right now. Look at all the holistic women on Instagram fear-mongering and selling rhythm method workshops or whatever. Mmm. I think the author was just too biased to be trusted and it left me really conflicted. I would not recommend this book and would suggest instead researching it from various sources. This means she's trying not to be biased. She's trying not to be biased and you want that in a popular science book. Yes, it can be really confusing, but that's just because the science itself is confusing. Hormones are it's still biased if you talk thoroughly through the studies that support your opinion, only mention the ones that don't in passing. A non-biased presentation of the current understanding would give equal weight to studies of equal rigor. Haven't read the book, so I'm not commenting on what this author does specifically. I mean, isn't the rhythm method basically just the exact same thing as the pull-out method? I don't know. I won't comment. All right. I'm going to leave that up to the ladies. They can decide whether or not this one is legit. Roy Baumeister. Baumeister. Mate. Baumeister. Let's go. Oh dear. He's an American social psychologist who is known for his work on the self, social rejection, belongingness, sexuality, and sex differences. Sexuality and sex differences, self-control, self-control, self-esteem, self-defeating behaviors, motivation, aggression, consciousness, and free will. Okay, he's done a lot. He's done a lot. Topics of research focuses on 6 themes. Um, aim, self-control, decision-making, the need for belonging. Has he had any erotic plasticity? Sorry, I'm now interested in this one. Erotic plasticity, which is the extent to which one's sex drive can be shaped by cultural, social, and situational factors. He argues that women have high plasticity, meaning that their sex drive can more easily change in response to external pressures. On the other hand, men have low plasticity, therefore have sex drives that are relatively inflexible. Hell yeah. Love that shit. With whom he has collaborated. Wonder what their erotic plasticity is. What the hell? Okay, I mean, he doesn't seem like an absolute crank, so Bowmeister is okay. I mean, come the fuck on. I'm not even respecting it. Robert Snellman. Yep, that's right. That's his name. He is a mathematician. How many more of these are there? Oh fuck, there's still heaps. Yeah, probably not gonna get through them all, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Why is it almost always there's just they always just have an image of themselves doing that. Just them standing in front of a whiteboard with some random bullshit scribbled on it. Ah, fuck. I have problems with LinkedIn. I think I got locked out in a weird way. All right, well, we can't even look into them. That is okay. I think we might take the break. Take the stop. On the road. I was hoping to be to be here at like 6 and start then, or like 5. That would have 5 or 4 would have been the much better idea. But yeah, as I said, I was dropping my girlfriend off at a corn sit. But oh well. Hang on. Yeah, I think we'll call it there. Like, this is a process, you know. Still the beginning of the year ultimately. Sort of rolling myself into things. I don't want to go hard just yet, just because there's still a few things I have to sort of set up with the whole streaming setup here, honestly, at home. Got to get comfortable, got to sort of find how it all works. Got to find the right time to do it at, especially for personal energy levels and whatnot. So yeah, we'll leave this here. I'm gonna keep this, and I'm gonna keep going through these people because because I think it'll be interesting. Well, we've only got like what? Oh, we still got quite a few actually. Oh shit, we do. We have quite a few people still left. Yeah, we're up to there. The guy looks like he's almost about to die. Oh my god. Oh my god. He was the graduate supervisor to Jordan Peterson. Well, then that's perfect. That's where we want to start off the next time. That's perfect. Awesome. That's where we're starting off. Alrighty. I think I'll leave it there. And hope everyone has a good night. Easy as. Till then.